is, well,
Of the earth.
yeah, to be of the earth. Let's say it's everything opposite of the existence that we're sharing in right now. And that is kind of setting the tone for the interview here, because nobody interviews sovereigns. It's too fucking dangerous, right? We're all on a government list, or 10, and this is going to put you on at least 5 more.
Sure.
You know, the sovereigns are said to be public enemy number 1, and that's a quote from our local media. And, well, let's find out why. You know, I mean, look, if it's my rule, the lion-ass government that I have, and they tell me that somebody is my enemy, I'm going to have to go and talk to him. And that's exactly what I did. I ran into a gentleman by the name of Shane.
November 5th.
And that was on November 5th, yeah. And we...
Remember the 5th of November?
Yeah. No shit. We got to talking, and he started to school me on what the sovereigns are and what that's about. And it had an immediate appeal to me because it sounded like a whole bunch of fucking freedom that I could enjoy. And then you find out, I found out that the sovereigns are looked at as public enemy number 1 to our national police forces. So I had to know why. And I start talking to Shane, and he speaks about law, and he speaks about peace. So nothing made sense. So I looked more into it. We've played Consent of the Governed. We've played other videos. We've had other discussions. We've looked at other research. But now, they're here. You're going to be able to hear it from their words. You're going to be able to hear it from their mouths. No one else is going to be able to speak for them today. No one else is going to be able to bastardize them today. Finally, they have a chance. They have an opportunity. This is their opportunity to be able to bring to the forefront what it is they do. You know, what it is they're about. Are they patriotic, or are they our enemy? You know, do they feel like they don't have to pay taxes because they're better than us? Or are they striving for something that's better for all of us? Let's find out. Oh, yeah. And you guys are wanting the camera. So let's do this. You guys ready for some camera action?
Just about.
All right.
He's gonna have.
There we go. And our sovereigns are also representing others, too. So let's see here.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. All right.
Doing it, baby. Peace and love.
It's not the best camera, but there's Shane in the Anon mask. We got Chris right there next to him. Excellent, guys. Man, you don't know how much I appreciate you guys being here. Like, seriously, you just don't know.
It's our pleasure, brother.
Dude, this is the pinnacle of... Yeah, this is the pinnacle of me having my own show. No shit. And I want to just get right into this, man. I want to unleash you guys on the audience. Let's go through some basic questions that you guys face when it comes to being patriotic. Okay? Are you anti-American, or are you patriotic, or are you somewhere in between? What's going on with the sovereigns concerning patriotism in America?
Well, the sovereigns are patriotic toward to the Republic for the United States of America, the actual land that exists, the people of flesh and blood that exist within it. We are not patriotic toward the United States corporate government. We are patriotic to the United States of America, the Republic, and therein lies the difference, this side versus that side.
Okay, so there's what the sovereigns have discovered is that there is a huge discrepancy between what we believe our country is and what our country actually is. Is it accurate to say that?
I apologize, my friend. I was looking at your wife.
Everybody's distracted. All right, Chris, do you want to answer that?
What was it again? I was distracted as well.
Apologies.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right.
This usually happens to people with a lot on their mind.
All right, I think we're gonna have to have Chris run the show here. There, I don't blame you guys paying attention to the beautiful lady, man. I would too. No. What is it? Are you guys patriotic? Are you anti-government?
We're anti any government that is not for the people. And if you're for profit, you can't be for the people. Right. And the federal government incorporated as of 1871. And that's proven in the United States Code, Title 28. All the stuff that's needed to combat these folks is all researchable, and it's out there to be seen. Go to any law library. Just wait for the day when they take away our law books, so we need to hit it when it's hard. right now is the time, absolutely.
So when they say that you're not patriotic, what they're actually doing is trying to cast you in a light that is incorrect.
Absolutely. They have put a stain on the word, and it's just a word. You know, that there's a belief that goes more in depth than what the media wants to allow anybody to believe. You know, it's you know, we're patriotic because we believe in trying to help our brothers and our sisters and not just ourselves. You know, it's the part of being self-governing. That's what goes along with that, because obviously, you know, they would want you to believe that, oh no, we're going to take care of it for you. We got this. We're going to create this law to make sure this happens. We're going to create this law to make sure this happens. And they're not always good laws. So therefore, if it's not happening for the benefit of the people, like he said, it's junk.
And real quick, there is many different references to prove that point. The Constitution, many case laws. One of the case laws is Marbury versus Madison, early 1800s. And in that case, it pretty much says that anything that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void. And this is, many things have happened throughout the history of this country before it started to deteriorate, to prevent what has happened from happening. So again, we must protect the Constitution. It doesn't protect us.
Okay, so people would cast you in a non-patriotic light, but you're telling me that the sovereigns cling to the organic Constitution.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's the difference between, and most people don't know that there is an organic Constitution. Everybody pretty much thinks we have a Constitution, right? So explain that. We have more than one Constitution.
Absolutely. The original Constitution was set aside in, I believe, 1871, and if it's not that year, it's around that time frame. And what they did is they made it the Constitution of the United States. And the United States, in all capitals, is the incorporated federal corporation. And the organic Constitution is the Constitution for the Republic for the United States of America. And this is where wordplay comes into play, and the manipulation that goes right over most people's heads. And then when you start to actually question things, and it becomes a way you've conditioned your brain, then you start to question everything. For instance, like the Bar Association. The word bar is an acronym for British Accredited Registry. In many lawful documents, the Constitution, one of them, states you can't take a title of nobility from another country and still operate under a position of trust in this country. And that's all we have. Well, not all, but it's a large majority of the three branches of government is run by attorneys, bar members. In the courts in this country, we're told that we have to get an attorney. They make, not law. Law is organic, and it is by our Creator. What they do is they create a process that circumvents the Constitution to make it so they can make money off of us. And that's not allowed. We all know that.
So somewhere around the mid-1800s, we lost the country as a republic. It became a corporation, and there was no announcement. Nobody was told this on a public mass scale. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so this was done behind the scenes, and it changed the entire nation. It changed our rules. It changed our laws, put us under maritime law, and we're completely unaware of that. Is that correct?
Yes, and yes, absolutely. And it's also been a period of time. The folks who are powerful in this world, who we all know exist, let's not put names on them. Why do that? These folks are extremely patient. They'll have 50-year plans, 100-year plans. I'm sure most folks listening are privy to the patience level of these individuals. And over the span of a time, ever since the Civil War, we became under the Lever Code, which is martial law and all the regulations that govern a nation that is occupied by its army, which is all property rights are suspended and all civil rights are suspended. Then you got the federal government in 1871 incorporating. Then you got the Federal Reserve Act in 1912 or 13. Then you got the Social Security Act, indentured bond servants. Then you got the schools became ran by the government. Then you have the courts that became all admiralty and maritime. And this happens over a span of a time. It's like putting a toad in a boiling pot of water. It'll jump right out. If you do it slowly, it's going to sit in there and die.
Yeah. So let me. I want to make sure that this is fair. This is a fair
right out. If you do it slowly, it's going to sit in there and die.
Yeah, yeah. So let me. I want to make sure that this is fair. This is a fair statement. The country was a republic. It was basically stolen and changed, and none of the public was aware. But the sovereigns found out. The sovereigns got hip to this information, started to tell people, and then they were labeled a bunch of crazies and stuff like that since then. Is that pretty much?
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. And once again, there have been people that have tried to change that. JFK was one of those people that was trying to change that very thing, and they shut him down. And he was trying to do it for the right reasons. And a lot of people misunderstand that about sovereignty because they're so wrapped up in what's going on. Most people are very happy with what they have now, very complacent.
Yeah.
You know, because they get to go to work, they get to go home, you know, they get to watch their shows on TV, they get to enjoy their stuff, and they don't want to think about it. It's too much for a lot of people, and they get very scared about it. And there's nothing to be scared about whatsoever. It's just understanding what should be, and getting that veil, you know, removed from your eyes and being able to look at it and look beneath the surface and be like, wow, okay, so this is screwed up from the very beginning, and it's not a big secret. This is what we talk about is no big secret. You know, it's been around for a long time, but because of certain actions by other people, they have decided, you know, they used media as a front to be able to tarnish the name, to taint the name, and put it in a very bad light, you know.
And if you have a movement that can be successful, you know, if you guys are calling them out on what it is they're doing or not doing, what it is they're being or not being, and they label you as terrorists and things like that, let me backtrack a little bit. How many buildings have you blown up, Chris?
None.
None. How many terrorist acts have you committed in your lifetime?
Not a one.
Nothing. And you know that you're labeled a terrorist, you know, by this country. So essentially, the sovereigns found out that there was fraud. They found out that there were lies. They've tried to tell people, and you guys don't want to pay taxes because you find that they're unlawful, not because of some sentiment of anti, you know, like screw America, screw Americans. It's you want the rest of our population to also understand that these taxes are unjust.
One example, one saying that I heard from this gentleman named Mark Stevens, M-A-R-C. Mark Stevens, you guys can look him up on YouTube, is nonviolent non-cooperation. And that is a perfect way to put it.
Nonviolent non-cooperation. That harkens to Gandhi's belief that he labeled satyagraha, which was you know, peaceful resistance. Basically, it was civil disobedience.
And there's nothing wrong with taxes if they could prove that it was going towards the right benefit.
And if it's a lawful tax.
And if it was a lawful tax. I mean, there's a difference in whether it's justification for us as the people, as it should be, or if it's justification for them, which it ends up being. You know, it turns into a big power play for them to where they can capture the control and be able to hang on to it for dear life and say, okay, no, I'm going to keep you under my thumb, and that's not what it's supposed to be.
So when it all comes out in the wash, when the truth comes out, it ends up that you guys aren't terrorists. You're the purest form of Americans
and true patriots.
And true patriots. We want the best for everybody. I mean, we all do, and there's a lot of people out there who understand, hey, things aren't going right. It shows up in the voting polls. You know, you only got 30% of people voting right now. And that tells you 70% of the people are either thoroughly confused or really upset as to what the system's going on. And everybody believes that, oh, you know, you can change everything with your vote. But obviously, people are picking up on the idea, well, apparently that's not true because I didn't vote for this to be in place. So why is it happening? Why am I being subjugated, right, to this, you know, when it's not something that I believe in.
And it doesn't represent you.
It doesn't represent me.
So that makes you enemy number one.
Yep.
Because you got hip to their game, you started to tell people, and the next thing you know, you're a terrorist.
Yep.
And you've worked hard in your life.
They've
you know,
blown up more buildings than I have. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
yeah, let me get some. Yeah,
right.
man.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's damn. That's a good fucking point, dude.
Mark Stevens, and what was the name of it again?
It's nonviolent non-cooperation is one of the things that he pointed out in his video. But what he does mainly is combats the IRS and also frivolous cases in court, where you can ask them simple questions. You know, provide me a lawful delegation of authority. Prove to me in a document stating that you can hold the position that you're holding or you say you're holding, and that's how you can back anybody off. But see, the problem is that these people come up with legal process, not lawful process, to make it so it's harder for you to defend your liberties. And the price for liberty is being ever vigilant. We got this.
Yeah, yeah. No wonder. No wonder. You know, they spend millions of dollars. They use the influence of media to bastardize you guys and drive you into the ground. It's no wonder, because as soon as you guys get on a radio talk show and open your mouths, you burn their asses. You just burn their asses.
And it's like, okay, well, you know, they even understand. You know, they have to understand. You know, so it's like, okay, well, come on, let's just get it over with. Let's make this work the way it was designed and want it to be worked from the very beginning.
The Republic.
By our founding fathers. You know, we fought so hard not to just get to this country, but to establish this country.
Yeah.
And you know, the original revolution was to get rid of the Brits, and as soon as we did, we were owned by them right off the bat.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like, wait a minute, okay, that why do we do this?
Yeah.
You know, and why are you doing this? Just quit it. Just cut it out. You know, everybody can change. You know, it's it's disturbing to hear. You know, when our very own president talks about things like here recently, when he was talking about saying that he does not believe that the people are able to self-govern themselves at this point in time, and that they should be under a single sovereign unity, and talking about himself. And it's just like, wait a minute, okay, no, let's educate. Stop dumbing it down. Let's bring the level back up. Let's start educating. Let's start making people understand, you know, the purpose of being yourself, being able to say, hey, I'm in control of myself. As long as I'm not going to do anybody harm, I'm going to do right by others. And just keep that level going, and because everybody's like, okay, I'm just going to do whatever they say. And it's not cool.
I can guarantee everybody listening, this is the only time you're going to hear somebody who's considered a terrorist speak that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How in the hell is it that you're called a terrorist and you're talking about peaceful means and lawful means and self-discernment?
Every one of us is the same. Every one of us is the same.
Yes, sir.
And it's all about trying to bring more of the love for each other and what we should be, the caretakers of this earth, of this planet.
Of each other.
You know, of each other.
Yeah.
You know, and you get that ball rolling, and it's a good thing, because, you know, we shouldn't have to be forced to rely on them the way that they are trying to force.
The way they have.
Yeah.
You know, and that happens with anything, commerce. I mean, you know, look at how much stuff that we have to buy from other countries that they've outsourced that, you know, are bringing pollutants to us.
Yep.
You know, I've been proving it. You know what, lead and crayons from China. And you know, stuff like that. It's like, wait a minute. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't represent us. You know, it really doesn't represent our will. This is supposed to be for the people, by the people, things like this. You guys have some principles here, and we've already touched on one. Self-governance, self-discernment, right? Is it fair to say that that is at the foundation of sovereignty?
Absolutely.
Okay. Absolutely. Anyone who's listening, okay? If there's an organization out there that is preaching self-discernment, and anybody tells you that they are your enemy, the person that said they are your enemy is your enemy. You are listening to the sovereigns right now. This isn't somebody else speaking for them. These are the terrorists that your government says are terrorists.
I have a quote that you might be interested in.
You know, these are the folks that these people are dads. They're regular fucking people. You haven't blown anything up, and you get to hear it. You get to hear these terrorists speak, and all of us are wanting you to do just that. Discern for yourself what you believe.
Think for yourself, and you'll be free.
There it is.
Most definitely. So this is a quote from Benjamin Franklin, 1759, and it says, "They who give up their essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And that's
true.
a great point.
It's absolutely true. It's almost prophetic. He knew, and I was quoting an article the other day. Every time they pass something or say, like, okay, they have these sensors that they put in Brooklyn that can triangulate gunshots. It's for your safety.
Yeah, right.
You know, the Patriot Act for your safety, NDA for your safety, all of this. So it's like he was a prophet almost.
Yeah.
He knew that the tyrannical bastards were going to show up and do things under the guise of safety.
Correct, because they were already there and they were still trying to escape from them at that point in time.
Well, false flags are notorious throughout history.
Oh, yeah.
Wars.
Yeah, we can go on Isle of Tonkin. I mean, we go on and on,
We
yeah.
have a lot of quiet wars. There's many quiet wars. There is something on YouTube people might be interested in checking out, and it is Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. It's related to economic hitmen. You guys would be interested in looking at that.
Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars is a chapter in a book called Behold a Pale Horse, written by William Cooper, who was in the United States Navy as a special debriefing naval member in the Vietnam War. He was very well aware of Jason Project, Majestic 5, Majestic 6. And he was the one that found that they were using silent weapons for quiet wars.
Absolutely.
And that's his reference. He 3 months before 9/11 said because he was in Navy, he was in intelligence, he had a clearance, so people would send him stuff, and he said, "Man, I just got something that said we're gonna get attacked by Arabs. They're gonna attack buildings," and he said it's because they're coming for your guns. 9/11 happened 3 months later. And then he was dead 2 months after. Police in plain clothes were at the bottom of his driveway acting like a bunch of kids playing loud music. And when he went down there to confront him, they had a shootout and they killed him in his front door. So
Nothing good in life comes without sacrifice, and it's an unfortunate pill to swallow. You know.
Yeah, but we'll carry William Cooper's memory on,
Most definitely.
you know, with silent weapons for quiet wars, things like that. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate you being here, dude.
Pleasure, brother.
You have no idea.
Absolutely.
We really need to do this more.
Well, and yeah, absolutely, because, you know, not to talk about, you know, they always want to relate, like you talked about, and it's one thing that always really kind of sucks when you have to hear it. It's be like, yeah, well, sovereigns, you know, like you said, well, don't you guys blow up buildings? And it's like, you know, we really, really do not like that. I mean, that is just
Right.
like, it's like, okay, no. If you understood, you know, you would understand, you know, these people that they have pegged before for blowing up buildings here, you know, okay, well, there's a wacko in every bunch,
Well,
period.
yeah.
You know, you're not going to be able to fix that. But, you know, the truth of it is we're just about being able to protect ourselves, being able to protect what we believe should be our liberties, and being able to live our life justly and being able to do it properly and without having to jump through hoops for, you know, somebody that doesn't really isn't acting out for our cause.
Yeah.
You know, they're carrying all these wars on, they're carrying all this stuff out, and it is for their purpose.
Yeah.
Nothing but their purpose.
Yeah.
You know, and oh, well, you know, we go over to Iraq, we're going to take care of this, and it's going to be cheaper gas for everybody. No.
Right. Yeah.
And we've seen that, you know, and how long has this stuff been going on? You know, close to a decade now. We've been over in the Middle East.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, why? You
You
know,
know,
once again.
What is the sovereign position on, and I want to jump around to a few things so that people get an idea of this. What is the sovereign position on driver's licenses? Do you need a driver's license?
No.
No. Why not?
Because we have a right to travel freely, and you cannot convert a right into a privilege, charge a fee for it, and make it a license.
That's right.
Philosophically, we all know people who have a license who have no business having one.
Right.
And we all know people who don't have a license who have the right to travel without one. Now, if you want to talk about the subject as a whole, insurance, I believe personally that it's needed unless you got $10,000 laying around to pay for a car you accidentally victimized. And license plates, the car can be identified by stamping the VIN number or some number on the back, making it indented into the car. And now it's identifiable in case it's used in a crime. You know, I'm sure we all would agree that we'd like to have cars identifiable in case it's used in a crime, whatever have you. So you got
sure.
insurance, sure. We have never to buy a license plate. If you do, maybe once for 50 cents, and the license is needed. All these BMV fees is a hustle.
Where does our right to travel come from?
Laws of nature, baby.
Yes,
laws
dude.
of
Is
nature.
it written anywhere?
There is text. It's not written in the Constitution verbagely.
Okay.
But life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness
Okay.
equates into the right to travel.
Yeah, we can travel our lands freely.
And it's a common sense kind of thing. You don't have to have it written down. Again, the point. Let's discern for ourselves what the truth is and come to logical conclusions.
Yeah.
And that's an easy one.
Okay, so this doesn't come from some anarchist belief that says we don't want infrastructure, we don't want order. It's that they've overstepped their bounds and have no right to regulate our traveling.
Sure. You know, the roads are great, sidewalks are great. We all appreciate that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there's no problem with wanting to pay into that, but if it's, once again, you're going to go through the definition of what is being done properly, what is not being done properly, what is being, you know, the manipulation of us to be used to do other things, and that's not cool. You know, it's not supposed to be for profit. It is supposed to be for our benefit.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, if you want to charge us for having tags on there, I think it's ridiculous. Every year I have to re-register my vehicle.
Right. Yeah.
License every 4 years. Wait a minute, okay? Even give me a tag once I have the car and I have a tag. There's no reason to charge me $70 or $80 now for my vehicle.
Yeah.
$80 for 1 year, every single year.
And
that plate
again with the
cost them $2
nonviolent,
to
right?
make.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Again with the nonviolent non-cooperation, people really need to do the research themselves. I mean, we could sit here and spit a bunch of facts at you, and you'd have the facts, you wrote them down, you know them. Right. But the whole point about defending yourself in the law is you have to know it in your heart and in your mind thoroughly. Yeah. And it's not that hard to do. You just got to familiarize yourself with it. Take some time out of your day every day after your busy days, and just continually condition your brain to be, one, thinking for itself, and to, two, be ever skeptical of anything that's authoritative, even if it's your boss, and be able to defend yourself in the law. So if you were to say, hey, BMV, or court, if they took you to court, I don't need to pay this tax, I don't need a license, I can prove it in fact in law, then therein lies if everybody were to do that. Because, you know, you got a sovereign here and there that's doing it, and if everyone were to stand up one day and say these things, the courts would shut down, they'd walk away, they'd lock the doors, and they'd ask everyone to leave. And it would be a true revolution. Well, it is a revolution already. But once this wave picks up to a tsunami, if you will.
And it is.
It is. It needs to be. And it's not going to be like one of those violent tsunamis where everything is just going to come to a complete end, you know, crashing on land and destroying
everything. We're going to flush them out. How you like that?
Yeah. Right.
Flush them out. Just go on down. Go over there. You know, let us handle the rest of it. It's all good.
Okay, so there it is. There it is essentially, okay? The folks that are considered terrorists and violent and blow up buildings just fucking said the resolution. And it had nothing to do with violence. It had nothing to do with blowing anything up.
That's what they want. They want from us to be violent so that they can justify putting more tyranny upon us.
Right.
Yeah, these folks aren't terrorists. And I think if you use a split second of self-discernment, you're going to see that they're freedom fighters. They're Americans. They're normal people.
Together we will rise. One fist we will win. The very first thing I said to you when we were taking that picture November 5th.
Yep. When I met Shane, it was when I noticed that, and I've said this before, if you go to a protest, if you go to a rally, you're going to hear a lot of the same conversation. What set Shane apart from everybody else was he has a different conversation. And we've already spoken about it here. What happened to this country? Well, in the mid-1800s, here's the history. You know, how did we get to where we are? Well, a bunch of codes and statutes and laws that don't actually make any sense. There isn't a whole lot of continuity, and it doesn't represent us. You preach self-discernment and self-governance. What else is at the foundation of sovereign?
Chris, if you'd like.
Which direction? I mean, you know, it's because that's pretty broad, you know, because self-governing...
I apologize.
A whole lot of different aspects, you know. Just being respectful
ultimately, and, no victim, no crime.
Right.
And there's a victim in the earth too. If you're dumping oil on the grass, there's a victim. Anything living, if you victimize even a rock, then you're in violation of something's liberties.
Okay, so no force, no harm on anyone else.
No victim, no crime. Right. Provide me a party of interest or quit wasting my time. Boom!
Right. Did you hear it? Did you freaking hear it?
Yeah. Let's talk. You know, let's talk about it. It can't be that simple. There's nothing that can't be achieved without a couple of people sitting down and being able to hash out a problem. Because there are no problems in the end when you have that ability.
Yep.
You know,
yes,
and that's all it takes. You know, and now we're not allowed that. Yeah. Because you have to get an attorney to solve this lawsuit over your automobile accident because the insurance company wants to sue you because this woman